oil, and the price of oil was $7 a barrel.
Again, we are in conversation with Miguel Tinker Salas and Clifton Ross about the Bolivarian Revolution and the political crisis in Venezuela. Miguel Tinker Salas is a professor of history and Latin American studies at Pomona College. He's author of the book Venezuela, What Everyone Needs to Know. Clifton Ross is a journalist, filmmaker, former supporter of the Bolivarian process of Venezuela. He's the author of the book Venezuela, The Map of the Territory. His forthcoming book is called Home from the Dark Side of Utopia. Clifton Ross, feel free to respond to any of that, but what I really want to do is ask one last question about the referendum and then kind of move us beyond that to what's happening regionally in the area and how this may be affected by and just connected to other countries. But the referendum that Miguel Tinker Salas talked about, the opposition, and again, it is split. It's not necessarily a unified opposition, and they handed in 1.85 million signatures for a recall referendum. There was a split within the opposition of whether to go that track or not, and hence, from what I read, they somewhat got it in late, and now there's a question if there's not a referendum by next year, that changes the dynamic of what happens.
Well,
anyways, you're shaking your head, so I'm just going to let you jump in.
Well, there's so many different things to respond to here. First of all, my book is called The Map of the Territory, not Venezuela, The Map of the Territory, just in case anybody's interested. But let me just say that Venezuela, as Miguel talked about, was in fact in crisis in 1998, which is why Chavez came to power, and they wanted to try something different. And that is true. That's one place where we could agree. Now, as for the opposition, I think he's made my point for me, which is the opposition is very diverse. It doesn't have a caudillo at the top. It doesn't have a verticalist structure the way the PASO has a verticalist structure. With a man who comes out of the Socialist League, in fact, the verticalist tendency of the Socialist League in the case of Maduro, a follower of Sai Baba, who has a guru and also follows the leader and sees himself as the reincarnation, essentially, or the son of Chavez, who gets his orders from Chavez in the form of a little bird. This is one of the things that he talked about when he was running for president. Yes, in fact, the opposition is very diverse. It's very divided. It is extremely. They're going to have to work out a lot of different things, and that will come through democratic processes. On the other hand, with the Chavistas, now of course it's not as gross and vulgar as people coming into stores and showing their ID cards. But I would really like Miguel to